Master of Ceremony, Mr. Skalinda, the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Kakumba, and Permanent Secretary Mwiimbu, my colleagues in the media, members of the public. It is an honor for me once again, as I did mention at my last briefing, that I'll come back to brief the nation pertaining to the plight of our dear colleague, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Petauke Central. Apart from that particular statement, I'm going to issue another statement relating to the state of governance in the country, arising from various concerns from members of the public, wherein there has been assertions that the democratic space in the country has been shrinking. It therefore follows that I'm going to issue 2 press briefings today. I'll start with the statement pertaining to the democratic space in the country. My dear colleagues, members of the press, I wish to state that lately we have been hearing that the police have been denying members of the opposition permits to hold rallies. Some people and opposition leaders, without establishing facts on the ground, have been alleging that it is His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, who has been behind the failed rallies. I want to state and set the record straight by reiterating our collective position as UPND New Dawn government that we respect democracy and we uphold the rule of law. At no time have we stopped opposition from holding rallies in this country. The rallies have been failing on account of unresolved technicalities between the opposition groupings and the Zambia Police Service. The Zambia Police Service has been assuring us that the moment the opposition groupings play their own part and there are no serious concerns, there shall be nothing to hinder the opposition from holding public rallies. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, we saw this assurance coming to pass 2 days ago when a total of 15 political parties held their rallies. 13 political leaders conducted a joint rally, while 2 political parties had separate rallies on the Core Belt and Lusaka. Members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, even, I repeat, even the former head of state who issued statements to the effect that he is under house arrest was seen in Kitwe on Saturday addressing a political rally without any hindrance from the Zambia Police Service or any other person. This demonstrates our resolve in ensuring that we shall allow political parties to hold rallies in this country without any hindrance, provided security considerations are taken into account. As the New Dawn government, we want to commend the Zambia Police Service for the professional conduct during the opposition political rallies that were held on the Core Belt and in Lusaka. I also want to state that this is the first time that opposition political parties have been allowed to hold political rallies without any constraints. I would like to state without fear of any contradiction that from 2014, no opposition political rally was ever allowed to be held in Lusaka and the Copper Belt outside the official campaign period. From 2014 to 2021, you are all aware that the country was being run and managed by the Patriotic Front. No rallies were allowed outside the campaign period in Lusaka and on the Core Belt. And if the members of the public in the opposition insisted to go ahead with having public or processions, public rallies or processions, you had to wear bulletproof. The police during that time, under the instruction of the government then, could not allow, and they were brutal. Fortunately for us, we have allowed democratic space to be enjoyed by the opposition unlike it was in the past. And we are going to continue allowing opposition political parties to enjoy their democratic right and space. That is our resolve as the New Dawn government. However, we would like to appeal to opposition political party leaders to hold their rallies within the confines of the law. We appeal to political party leaders to refrain from making inflammatory statements when they are enjoying their rights to hold political rallies. Members of the press, fellow citizens, you witnessed what transpired in Kitwe on Saturday. Our colleagues, instead of addressing issues that are affecting citizens of this country, they concentrated on abusing the president. Very unfortunate. Insults, abusive language was used. We believe that when you have the right to address members of the public, you must sell your manifesto, provide checks and balances, and indicate to the nation what alternative policies you have, what alternative solutions you have pertaining to the problems that are dogging the country. But alas, That was not the case on the core belt. So we therefore want to appeal to the citizens of this country, the international community, and the other stakeholders to take note of what transpired on the core belt arising from the rallies that were held. We also want to state on behalf of government, answering to some of the issues that were raised, to state that the issues that were raised, if any, were created by the PF themselves. We are aware that they were appealing to the emotions of Zambians pertaining to the issue of electricity. The New Dawn government has only been in power for 2.5 years now. And during this period, we are endeavoring to resolve issues that are affecting the nation pertaining to the provision of electricity. The shortages of electricity currently obtaining in the country are not as a result of the failure of this government. You are all aware that the bulk of electricity in this country is generated through hydropower. And unfortunately, you can only generate electricity using hydropower if the climatic conditions are favorable. Unfortunately, this particular year, we had a severe drought. It therefore follows that the water levels have gone down. You cannot blame the government for the drought. You can't. The PF government was given the privilege of running this country. If they were prudent in managing this country, they would have looked at alternative sources of energy to provide electricity for Zambians. Unfortunately, they didn't. It is therefore folly for anyone to blame the New Dawn administration. The New Dawn administration is striving to ensure that we provide alternative sources of energy. You have heard the statements that have been made by the Minister of Energy pertaining to this matter, what measures we are putting in place. I have no doubt in my mind and the government that we are doing everything possible to ensure that we address this particular issue. We also want to state on behalf of the people of Zambia that the government of the Republic of Zambia is addressing the issue of the staple food. You are all aware that the government had put in place measures to ensure that we are self-sufficient in terms of provision of our staple food to the country. Unfortunately, once again, we had a drought. The people of Zambia had responded positively towards the call to produce enough maize in this country. But as I indicated earlier, the drought came in. I will still appeal to members of the public and the Zambian citizens not to despair. The government is doing everything possible to ensure that we are self-sufficient in terms of provision of the staple food. I will appeal on behalf of government to the people of Zambia that please respond in the same manner you did during the last season by producing more. The government will provide the requisite inputs to ensure that we produce as promised. We also want to state that we as the New Dawn administration have a responsibility to ensure that there is law and order in this country. If there is no law and order in this country, there will be no development. If there is a breakdown of law and order, you cannot attract investment. As the President had indicated at his press briefing, my ministry and other stakeholders in the security cluster, we shall ensure that there is law and order in this country. We shall ensure that anyone who breaks the law will be held accountable. And we would like to appeal to members of the public and yourselves, my colleagues in the media, to disseminate the message on behalf of the country that we need security and order in this country. It is for the good and benefit of every Zambian that there is law and order in this country. I want to state once again that as far as the New Dawn administration, there is no diminishing democratic space in this country. If anything, the democratic space under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema has increased. You all know that under the previous regime, members of the opposition were not allowed to campaign. They were not allowed to move freely in this country. Evidence is available, and you are all aware, members of the media. You are all aware that if a member of the opposition wears, their party regalia, it was a death sentence. But that is no more. That is no more. Check around, I challenge you. Check around, you will find that the party regalia that is being adorned by members of the public is that of the opposition. And no one is being harassed for wearing party regalia, unlike it was in the past. It just shows that we are tolerant, we are abiding with the principles of democracy in this country. Those days, it was a no-go area if you are wearing opposition party regalia to go to intercity bus station. It was a death sentence. You could not go anywhere freely in this country. But that is no more. All those who are talking about democratic space diminishing are merely politicking and being malicious. You have seen members of the public, members of the opposition are free to have press briefings. They have podcasts. They are able to broadcast through so many various medias, and nobody is harassing, as long as they confine themselves to operate within the confines of the law. And that is what it means to have democratic space. You have to do it within the confines of the law. So for us, I want to state that we are committed to ensuring that the democratic space which we all cherish does not diminish but increases. I would like to appeal to the churches. I would like to appeal to the churches that a church is for us to go and pray and atone our sins. A church is not going to a church is not for people to go and start uttering defamatory statements on the podium, to be insulting others in church, to be preaching political messages. A church is a center where members of the public who belong to various political parties congregate and share the word of God. And we would like to appeal to the churches not to allow us politicians to start campaigning in church. Those who want to campaign, they must go to other places outside the church. I also want to state one thing arising from the statements that were made in Kitwe, where we are being accused that whenever we are failing, we refer to the PF. I want to state very clearly that we shall never stop referring to the PF. We shall never do that. It is our duty and responsibility to remind the Zambians that the major issues affecting this country are arising from the activities of the PF. As I indicated, we are a Christian nation. And as Christians, even as we pray every day, we all refer to the activities of Satan as Christians. No one will tell you that don't refer to Satan because no, that Satan has been there before. No. In the same vein, like we believe in Christianity, we shall always refer to the activities of PF. We will not forget that. As I indicated, I will now proceed to issue another statement pertaining to matters surrounding our brother, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Petauke Central. Members of the press, countrymen and women, once again it is my privilege to issue a statement pertaining to the alleged abduction of Honorable Emmanuel J.J. Banda, Member of Parliament for Petauke Central, and the subsequent happenings following his reappearance. Members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, you may recall that on Saturday, 25th May 2024, the nation woke up to news that Emmanuel J.J. Banda had gone missing. Following Honorable Banda's alleged disappearance, the government, through its institutions, committed to undertake a thorough and transparent investigation in the alleged disappearance of the lawmaker. I did address the nation over the same, and I did promise that I shall come back to brief the nation pertaining to the progress we'll be making. Ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues, members of the press, I would like to give brief facts relating to this matter. As I indicated earlier, on the 25th of May 2024, the Zambia Police Service at Twin Palm Police Station received a call from an unknown person who claimed that he had found an abandoned motor vehicle with its engine running parked along Twin Palm Road. A very courageous member of the public. That courage must be appreciated. This is very unusual, extremely unusual for any person at that awkward hour where you find a vehicle parked by the roadside with the lights on. You come out of your vehicle, open the vehicle that you find parked by the roadside, start searching what is there, and you start making calls that you have found a motor vehicle. You inform the police, and not just the police, and the specific members of the Patriotic Front at that very awkward hour. It was reviewed by this same courageous member of the public that the same number that was used to inform the police was used to inform members of the Patriotic Front. Later in the day, the former Republican president, Mr. Edgar Chagwa, led a horde of cadres to Ibex police station, demanding that the government should bring back Honorable J.J. Banda. He further stated that he would do everything possible to find Honorable Emmanuel J.J. Banda. The same cadres became unruly at the police station, leading to a lot of commotion. On the same day, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brebina Changala, in the company of PF cadres, while he's at the police station, gave a narration of how he apparently tracked the motor vehicle that was being used by Honorable J.J. Banda in the night. Mr. Changala was tracking the vehicle of Honorable J.J. Banda throughout the night, up to the point when he was abducted. He accused the state of being behind the alleged disappearance of Honorable Banda, calling it a state-sponsored terrorism. His interest to track the car in the night leaves much to be desired. It is up to you, members of the press, members of the public, to speculate as to what interest he had in tracking Honorable J.J. Banda in the night on that festive day. It is also shocking to note that former minister in the MMD regime and president of the Forum for Democracy and Development, Ms. Edith Nawakwi, made allegations against the president of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for the disappearance of Honorable Emmanuel J.J. Banda. I will not go in detail. because that matter is in court. This was followed by two serving members of parliament, Mr. Mwiimbu and Miss Maureen Mabonga, who made similar allegations against the government over the alleged disappearance of Honorable Banda. The duo uttered careless and divisive tribal remarks which have the potential to plunge this country and the nation into a civil war. Ladies and gentlemen, the country may wish to note that the police rushed to the scene of the abandoned car along Twin Palm Road, in which they found, among other items, 2 cell phones and a note. The note stated, and I quote, "Dear Zambians, I'm very sorry. Please forgive me and stay blessed." The flip side of the note was a laundry receipt belonging to Honorable Mwiimbu. On Saturday, 26th May 2024, the Zambia police received information that Honorable Emmanuel J.J. Banda had been found at a named farm in Kafue district. The police rushed there and found Honorable Banda lying on the veranda of the farmhouse. He was then taken to a hospital in Kafue district. Surprisingly, PF members forcibly took him to Medland Hospital in Lusaka, a situation that did not sit well with the investigation team, as Honorable Banda needed protection. The state, therefore, moved him to Mwiimbu Medical Center. During the time he was at the medical facility, Honorable Banda had the company of his wives. Honorable Banda has 3 wives, 2 of them sisters. Access was given to his relatives to see him, including his personal lawyers and other dignitaries, including members of the diplomatic corps. We allowed everyone to see him because there is nothing we are hiding as government pertaining to this alleged disappearance. While at Mwiimbu Medical Center, Honorable Banda underwent medical examinations. It is worth noting that no physical injuries were found on his body, contrary to earlier allegations by his lawyer, Mr. Sakwiba Scott. You do recall, and it was in public domain, Honorable Sakwiba Scott, State Counsel, made very alarming statements to the nation, wherein he stated that in his long career in the legal profession, he had never seen such injuries in his life, apart from the injuries he had seen on Cuthbert Nguni. Cuthbert Nguni was one of the suspects in the zero option saga, telling the nation that Honorable J.J. Banda had extensive and serious injuries on his body. Fortunately, he went to see him after making that statement. The story changed. Further, when Honorable Banda recapitulated, he was taken to police headquarters for an interview in the company of his lawyers. He did not name his abductors as per statement which was made to the police and which statement was signed. That statement can be seen by you members of the press. In that statement which is signed, he never mentioned anybody. He didn't. Again, this is contrary to insinuations by his lawyer, Mr. Sakwiba Squatter, that Honorable Banda had named 2 senior state house officials and a UPND official during the interview at the police headquarters as his abductors. I challenge my colleague, State Counsel Sakwiba Squatter, to produce a statement that was signed by J.J. Banda naming those 3 members. The statement is clear. As I've said, the statement can be made available to all of you, which he signed in the presence of his lawyers. He never mentioned anybody. On the 19th of June 2024, Honorable Banda was declared medically fit and moved to Eastern Province, where he has been charged with serious criminal offenses. Regarding the issue of his alleged abduction, the Zambia Police Service is actively investigating the matter. All possible leads, including the alleged individuals, will be called upon to assist the police over this matter. Members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, you may wish to note that Honorable Emmanuel J.J. Banda has sued the state and the 3 alleged abductors. I therefore feel constrained to delve in the details of this matter, as it may be sub judice. I, however, wish to assure you that the perpetrators of this heinous vice will be brought to book soon, once we conclude our investigations. Through you, my colleagues, members of the media and the nation, I would like to warn my fellow politicians and the general public from uttering inflammatory statements and tribal remarks, which have the potential to cause anarchy in the country. Those who are found wanting will face the full wrath of the law. In the same vein, I wish to urge all to heed His Excellency President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema's call for unity. Let us embrace the One Zambia, One Nation motto. My colleagues, members of the press, fellow citizens, I would like to thank you most sincerely for listening to me as I made the 2 statements. I'm now available to answer questions surrounding the 2 statements I have made.
Thank you very much. That was addressed by Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Mr. Jacob Mwiimbu, State Council and MP, on two issues. The first, that of public order vis-a-vis the democratic space in the country, and the second one arising from the alleged abduction of the Honorable Member of Parliament for Petauke Central, Honorable Emmanuel J. Banda. Please, the Minister is inviting questions or clarifications arising from the two pieces of information he has rendered. You will have to introduce yourself and the media you are coming. You are free to interact with the Minister now. Yes, my brother.
Good morning, Honorable Minister.
Good morning.
The issue of Emmanuel J. Banda raised quite a storm in the public. It's been almost a month since the Honorable Member of Parliament was found, and yet we still seem not to be getting to the conclusion of it. Would you like to share what challenges the state is facing in quickly bringing the matter to its logical conclusion?
Your name and the media house?
My name is Ali from Kalema.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll allow two before. Yeah. Yes, my brother.
My name is my question is, like he has indicated, a month since this issue was raised, and people have been mentioned, like you indicated, one name of the United Party, UPND, and of course State House officials. And you have seen that these people have not been summoned by the police. We don't know why. Maybe you can also indicate on that, since you are the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. Again, the other thing is that Mr. Banda has been charged with some cases in Chipata. And people have to say this is somehow to divert people's mind from their abduction. Maybe you can.
Thank you. I think I need to answer these two questions first. You may have noted that I did mention that there is now an active matter in court. Honorable J.J. Banda opted, before the conclusion of the investigations, to sue, and he has sued the government and the alleged abductors. He has sued them. It therefore follows that as government and any other person cannot delve into the details of the allegations and the investigations, because the matter is in court. It will be sub judice for me to start telling the nation what we have found arising from our investigations. But suffice to say that there are issues that you, as journalists, can investigate independently. I did mention that there is this very courageous, extraordinary individual who finds a vehicle parked outside, along the road, and comes out and starts searching without knowing who is the owner of the vehicle or where the owner of the vehicle is. And this is the individual who rings the police and who rings a number of PF individuals. And this is the same person who concluded that this vehicle belongs to J.J. Banda. You can speculate on your own. Further, my brother is saying that, J.J. Banda has been arrested, so that we create a camouflage pertaining to this particular offense of abduction. We are not. You are all aware, and you are members of the press, And I assume that you are all knowledgeable that under the laws of this country, there is no statute of limitation pertaining to criminal matters. None at all. You can be investigated for a matter that happened 30 years ago and be convicted. And that is the international norm. Even in the United States of America, you have seen the former president, Trump, being investigated, being tried for cases that happened, is it 2014, 2015? Because that is what the law says. So even in this country, if you committed an offense some time back, you still will be investigated. And you should also know that criminal cases, for example, the case of aggravated robbery, it's not the government that reports the matter to the police. It's the individuals. Even the other case of attempted murder, it's individuals. You are all aware, even one of your colleagues, you are aware, one of your colleagues is so unhappy pertaining to the way he was treated in Eastern Province, where he was urinated in the mouth by these same individuals. It's not us complaining. It's your colleague. Should we fold our arms and say, no, there's nothing we can do? The answer is no. Every Zambian deserves to be protected by the state. It is not us. When the matter starts in Eastern Province, you hear the details pertaining to the charges that have been leveled against it. It's not us. That is what is happening. As I said, we have nothing to hide over this matter. And you have said, Honorable J.J. Banda mentioned the individuals. I've told you, be an investigative journalist. Go to the DPP's office or the CDI office, CID office in Osaka. There is a Freedom of Information Act now. Go and ask for that copy of the statement which he made in the presence of his lawyer. Check it. Whether in that statement he named anyone. With that statement, the way it is done, you sign on every page so that nobody alters the statement. The statement is there. He didn't. If he mentioned the other people, that's an afterthought. Outside the official statement he made to the police. As I said, the other matters, I will not want to delve into them. I challenge you, all of you. My brother who has made those allegations, go there. Check for yourself. Check for yourself. The police only, if you make a complaint to the police will rely on the official complaint you've made. They will not start, speculating on whether you are holding on to certain information. No, they will rely on what you are saying. But as I indicated, we have nothing to hide. We have nothing to hide. I have indicated that all the procedures and the processes will be invoked by the Zambia Police Service. We have nothing to hide. We also have an interest to ensure that we find out what exactly happened on that day. There are too many coincidences in this matter There are too many. Too many. I don't want to talk about the house in Kafue. I don't want to talk about it. There was a media house, that did a documentary. If you analyze that, statement, it's contrary to what is on the ground. Next.
Another statement too is any.
There's a lady behind the house.
A lady and the gentleman. The lady.
My name is Angela from UPI.
Yes.
They just have eye contact with the.
Yes, madam. I am able to see you.
So my question is a concern from one of Honorable David's lawyers, Honorable McKay. He's wondering why the police have decided to resuscitate cases that were already settled by the court of law. But this 9 years ago, instead of focusing on the current case of abduction, he says the police are keen in pursuing matters that are dealt with 9 years ago than maybe with the abduction case. His reason is that maybe because of the directive that was given by the head of state during his prayer that those cases should be brought back. So just going to
Thank you. Yes, Mr.
Yeah, I'm Mengela. I write for Zambia 24. Regarding the coincidences, what conclusion can we make from those coincidences? Because 2 plus 2 gives us 4. Again, 2 times 2 gives us 4. So such things bring a lot of questions, and so to avoid some kind of misdirecting ourselves, maybe you can help us to understand.
I will not want to delve into that matter and start speculating. That will be a matter for the police to investigate at an appropriate time. At an appropriate time, the nation will know what really transpired. The nation will be told. I made an assurance to you that I'll come back, and I've come back. I will still come back. Coming to the issue of the alleged remarks by his lawyers that we are resurrecting matters that were already concluded in the courts of law, I want to tell you, madam, without fear of any contradiction, that there was no matter that was before court pertaining to the matter of aggravated robbery that is under consideration by Zambia police. None. There is no matter that was leveled against J.D. Banda pertaining to the alleged murder, to attempted murder. None. We are aware of a few cases that were resolved. One of them was assault. The assault at a police station. We are aware, and we know what the law of this country says. You can't be tried twice for the same offense. These other cases are independent, and they have never been tried by any court of law. We are aware of the issues. We are aware of those. Any other? Yes.
Yes, Honorable Minister. My name is Blessings. I'm from Crown TV. There's 2 concerns regarding Honorable J.D. Banda coming from his family as well as his lawyers. I want to find out from you, there's been a concern that Mr. Banda is not in good state in terms of his health-wise. I want to get it from you. How is his medical condition? How is he, as we speak?
Well, I'm not a medical person, but I can confirm that he has been making complaints to Zambia police pertaining to his health. Even as of yesterday, he complained. He usually has convulsions, as he says. He was taken to the hospital in Chipata General Hospital, and he has been admitted there, pertaining to convulsions and other, other illnesses which, which have afflicted him. I would not want to disclose, some of the illnesses because an illness is a private matter. But I can tell you that yes, he complained, and because of the complaint he raised, we had to take him to the hospital as per requirements of the law.
Honorable Mr. Sir, you may wish to wrap up the press briefing.
Thank you, honorable colleagues. As I indicated earlier, this government will want this country to continue on the trajectory of good governance. We will not want a situation where we retrogress to the days of PF, wherein there used to be gross violation of the rights of individuals and political leaders. We will not want to go back to those dark days. My only appeal, which I'm making to the nation and to other leaders, is that please let's ensure that we respect the laws of this country. Once you respect the laws of this country, there will be no problem. That is an assurance I'm making. As government, on your behalf, the people of Zambia, will not allow us to retrogress wherein Kadarism was the order of the day, lawlessness was the order of the day. We want this nation to continue being regarded as a beacon of peace, a pride of the international community, wherein Zambians can live as one Zambia, one nation. And this has been cherished for a long time. Issues of tribalism were not a factor. Unfortunately, leaders and others are now focusing on issues of tribalism. And we must note that in this country there have been many intermarriages, to the extent that sometimes it's difficult to tell what tribe a person is or race. There have been intermarriages amongst tribes, among races. Why should it be an issue now as to which tribe or race you belong to? Only people with the simple minds, can delve into those issues. Only people with the simple minds can go to court and start, making applications that no, I can't be tried by a Bemba, or I can't be tried by a Lozi. That is deepening tribalism in the country. That's deepening, tribalism. A court of law is an institution where all of us will look forward to. If we all do that, would there be no law and order in this country? Because whenever you go to court, you say, no, I don't want to be tried by this person because he hails from that area. What justice are we going to be promoting in this country? None. I once appealed to the church. Please, let's ensure that churches are from confessing our sins and not making sins in church. If you make your sin in church, where are you going to go and confess? No. And we'll continue referring to the atrocities committed by PF. We will not forget. As I said, we're a Christian nation. In the same vein, as a Christian, I will never fail to talk about Satan, because I know what Satan has done to us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, colleagues.